I want you to follow what I've shared with you on this presentation. And I promise you, it will elevate your market play. We're going to cover things. Do this right now to stop losing. And what I am going to promise you is that what I share with you today, if you can manage to follow this, you're going to see a material difference in the way you select your trades. You're going to see a material difference in the statistical consistency of solid trades coming out of this formula that I'm going to share with you today. All right. Now, what are the tools we need before I delve into this formula? As mentioned yesterday, we need a few basic things. I'm going to focus predominantly on the 2-minute time frame because this is the time frame that my traders train on. All right. There's no better time frame for training purposes, for building the skill of a trader. There's no better time than the 2-minute time frame. Okay. Now, what we're looking at here is a 2-minute chart of Microsoft. I need us to overlay on top of that chart a simple 20-period moving average. Now, I'm just telling you 35 years of experience experimenting with virtually every single possible thing you can imagine. I have found no concrete evidence that the sexier varieties work any better than simple. So I use simple 20-period moving average overlaid on the chart. And then additionally, we're going to overlay a 200-period simple moving average. Now, before I go to the formula, I want to mention a few things here on this chart. First, I'm going to talk about position. Okay. And I want to explain what position is. Position is where the stock is in relationship to the two moving averages. Okay. The 20 and the 200. So when your stock is above the two moving averages, we're considered to be in plus position. All right. When your stock is below the two moving averages, we're considered to be in minus territory, okay, or negative territory. All right. So we've got position above plus, position below negative. So if I were to ask you what position it is, you're just going to say basically, no, it's above the two moving averages. We're in plus territory. Below the two moving averages, we're in negative territory. Okay, good. That's position. I'm going to also talk briefly about state. State is also a condition of your stock based on the two moving averages. Okay, we've got position. Now we're going to talk about state. What's the state of the market? What's the state of the stock? We're going to take the two moving averages, and when they're close together, your state is narrow. When they are wider apart, your state is wide. So there are two states in the market. Well, there are three states: narrow state, wide state, neutral state. Not really narrow, not really too wide, but that's neutral. But when it's clearly wide, the two moving averages are wide apart. The two moving averages are together. Okay, narrow state. So remember, there's positive position, there's negative position, there's narrow state, and there's wide state. Okay. Now I'm going to also talk about color. When we look at this chart, I want you to be able to determine what's the dominant color. And there are two ways to determine what's the dominant color, because there's all the market activity really is nothing more than a tug of war between the two sides, the bulls, the bears, the red bars, the green bars. It's just a tug of war. Now, a big part of your success in playing the market, interpreting the market properly, and therefore playing the market properly based on that proper interpretation, is to consistently be able to get this answer right. Which side is in control of the stock right now? So when I look at this chart and I take this section of the chart and I ask you, what's the dominant color? You determine that by two ways. Which bars, on average, red bars or green bars, which side produces the more sizable bars? So When I see this red bar, boom, that's a sizable red bar. I see that red bar, that's a sizable red bar. I see that red bar, that's a sizable red bar. But when I look at my green bars, most of the green bars seem to be much smaller than what the red bars are capable of producing. So first, size matters. I'm sorry, it does. So we have solid reds. We have more solid reds than we have solid, powerful greens. That's one way. The other way we determine what color is the dominant color is simply a count. So which color, red or green, seems to be able to put a longer string of consecutive same color bars together than the other. So let's take a look at it. We're going to take the same block right here, and we're going to say, which color produces itself more frequently and more consistently than the other color? Okay, so we can see there's one green, then two red. There's two green, then three red. There's one green, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red. It's clear that from both standards, size and number, red is the dominant color. All right. So remember these three things. All right. We know position above, position below the moving averages, plus and minus. We know state, narrow, and we know wide. Okay. We know how to determine the dominant color, size of the bars, and consistency. How many, which color can put a longer string consistently together than the other color. All right, good. We've got those set. Now I can take you to the formula. All right. This is sort of like a litmus test that I use, that I teach my traders to use for virtually every single trade. I want them to take the trade and run through what I call the PCT test. Okay. This is the litmus test for determining whether or not your trade has sound qualities and therefore sound probabilities. Okay. The PCT test. And what it stands for is P stands for position. Okay. We want the stock, if we're looking to buy, I want the position to be positive. I don't want the position on average to be negative. The color, C stands for the color part of the test. I want to play with the dominant color. I don't want to play against the dominant color. I don't want to play against the winning team. I want to play with the winning team. All right. C stands for color. Trend. I want to play with the prevailing trend, with the prevailing movement. So how do we determine what the prevailing trend is? It's simple. The 20-period moving average reveals the trend. If the 20-period moving average is rising, the trend's up. If the 20-period moving average is declining, the trend is down, period. Now, remember, we know what position is. Position is above or below the two moving averages. Color is, which is the dominant color? What's producing fat bars? Which side is producing more fat bars? And which side is producing a longer string of its own color? Okay. And then trend, we know how to determine now. Is the 20 rising, or is the 20 declining, or is the 20 kind of flat? And those are your three trends. Now, the next slide is very important. You're going to run your trades through this simple test. Okay. You're going to say, before you take a trade, let's say you want to buy this stock right now. You think it's going to go up. All right. You're going to say, wait a minute. Let me just check this really fast. Am I buying in the right position? Am I buying above the moving averages or below? And let's say you're above. You would put, boom, check. Okay. Is the dominant color in my favor? Because you can still be buying above the moving averages, but the dominant color is red. Okay. So your stock gap has gapped up in the morning above everything, but it's doing nothing but dropping after the open. But you want to buy it. And so you're buying above the moving averages because of the gap, but the stock's dropping and it has nothing but red bars. That would be color against me. Okay. And if the 20 is declining, you would put another X in the box. So now this is a 2X trade out of 3. This is a bad trade, bad setup, bad odds. Now, what's the good trades? You need at least 2 out of 3. And it's a go. Preferably, if you can get all 3, boom, boom, boom. Odds are extraordinarily high here. But you don't need all 3. Now, off the open, we don't have a trend yet. How can you have a trend and it's the first bar of the morning? You can't have a trend until later in the morning. So in the first part of every day, you already start off with an X. Your selection has to be on point at the open. Your selection has to be sharper than later in the day. You're called to a higher standard in the morning because you start off with no trend. So I put an X. I tell my traders, don't put a neutral. No, we start off with an X at the open. Now, you better make sure that every trade you select in the first part of the day has positive position and positive color. Otherwise, it's not a trade. And I will tell you that the traders who get the open or get the first part of the morning wrong most of the time, they're violating this with a 2X play. All right. Now, let me just say this. A 2X play is a bad trade. A 3X trade, how do I say this? You're an idiot? No, I'm teasing. No, this is just really bad. Just stay away from 3X trades, please. Please. All right. 3X is just really, really horrendous. Okay. All right. 2X is bad enough. Stay away from them too. You need 1X or no X trades. All right. Okay. Let's go. Now, let's look at examples and run these things. I'm going to pick certain parts of an example and we're going to run it through the PCT test. Okay. Here, the first one, we're looking at Microsoft. This is the first bar of the morning. The stock, Microsoft, opens above the moving averages, P, C, T. We've got position, check, which means that if I want to buy, this is positive position. I'm starting off right. Color, well, I only have one color, and that color is red. So color is against me if I want to buy. Now, if that were a fat, solid green bar, color would be with me. Now, later in the day, we can judge color by more, by the string, by the number. But at the open, you can only judge it by the bar that you have. Okay? So the bar I have is red. I don't have color in my favor. If I want to buy Microsoft here, after the first bar, I'm fighting color, but I have position. So I have conflict in the trade. Conflict trades don't work out well consistently. Okay. And then trend, remember I told you at the open, you already start off with an X. So here's a 2X trade. This is a no buy. You do not buy Microsoft. It didn't pass the PCT test. Let's say you're here. Now, my traders know that I'm a big color trader near the 20-period moving average. So meaning that if the 20-period moving average is pointing downward, I'm looking for red to overpower a green near the 20. Let me show you. See, my 20 is declining. Now here is red overpowering a green near the 20. It doesn't have to be touching it, just near it. Let me show you another one. This is not so far either. Here's a green. Red overpowers the green right there. Red overpowers the green here. Okay. Red overpowers the green here. It's a little far away, but red, look at this green. Red overpowers the green there. So if I go back here, I have this color play, this one a little far, but the risk is small because my stop is there. I'm playing under the green with a stop above the green. I'm playing under the green with a stop above the green. I'm playing under the green with a stop above the green, under the green with a stop above the green. Okay. Now, all of these plays, this play, all right, this play, this color play, let's run them through the test. PCT. Okay. All right. Do I have position? Or if I'm shorting, betting on the downside, I've got position in my favor because each one of those color changes is below the two moving averages. All right, check. Position is in my favor. Each one of these trades, what's the dominant color here? Red. I mean, we can see the big red bars are on the red side, and the consistency of the red, the consistency is on the red side. It's not on the green side. The green can barely put in 2 green bars consecutively. Red's putting in 5 bars, 4 bars, 3 bars, 8 bars. You follow what I'm saying? So color is in my favor. And of course, what's the 20-period moving average doing? It's down, it's sloping down. I'm playing with the trend. No wonder every single color change works. This is taking candy from a baby. Now, I know some of you may not like taking candy from a baby, but I do. Give me that candy. Babies shouldn't have candy anyway. Okay, you get what I'm saying. All right, take that candy from that baby. Look, boom, boom. Even this one, boom, boom. Near the 20, not too far away. Boom. They all passed the PCT test. Now, let's move on to the next one. Guys, it's 35 years, and I still get excited about this. So true. Remember what I told you about state, right? Remember I told you, be cognizant of state. Notice how your state here is narrow, between the two moving averages narrow, but your state here is wide. Be careful. I want you playing mostly out of narrow states, but things are getting a little overheated when we get wide, okay? Let's do the color trades again, shall we? Let's say my 20 is rising. I've got the dominant color is green, all right? Look at your big bars, like, okay, which side is producing the biggest bars? Obviously, the green side. Which side seems to be putting the highest number of, here's a consecutive red here though, but which is putting a higher number of consecutive bars together? Green. So that's throughout the whole trend. But let's say you don't have the whole trend yet, right? So let's just say here is green taking out a red. Remember, I told you I like to play the color game. If I'm above the moving averages, I want to be a buyer, and I want to buy green overpowering a red near the 20. All right. So I want to buy a green. Let me erase this here really fast. I want to buy a green overpowering a red. I want to buy green. See that green there? I want to buy green overpowering the red, but near the 20. I want to buy green overpowering a red. I want to buy green overpowering. It doesn't have to be next to it. See this red bar here, and green overpowers it there, not too far from the 20. You see how this green overpowers the red, not too far from the 20. So all of these are color opportunities near the 20. Now, why are they buy? Because they are above the two moving averages, right? PCT. T. So let's go over each color change opportunity. All right. I'm going to look at this color change opportunity near the 20. Of course, I've got the position of that bar. Yes, because that's my buy bar. The dominant color's green. Yes. And the trend is in my favor. Yes. This one, same thing. This one. Now, I'm going to do this one differently because, see, this green has actually wiped out this red, and it is happening near the 20, but the trend is broken down a little bit. So let's do the PCT test on this. All right. Am I buying above the two moving averages? Yes. All right. I'm not buying below them. I'm buying above them. So yes, that's my entry point right there. Am I playing the dominant color? Well, kind of yes. If I go back to the beginning and say, look, this is the day I'm dealing with now, I would say that yes, the dominant color is green, especially with the bar that I'm buying. Okay. So yes, trend, not so much now. This trend is broken. Okay. At this point. So it's still kind of a two-color thing. It's a two-pass. It's not the best trade, which would have your position, your dominant color, and your trend is back intact. Here, the same. Here, the same. Here, the same. All right. We actually flesh out this PCT test more. This is the base layer of the litmus test. But if I find that the base layer handles 70% of the equation, if you can get the base three things right, position, color, trend, then the rest is refinements. All right. Making sure, do you have location right near the 20, or are you buying up here? So if you were buying up here, this would pass the PCT test. You have position above, you have color is the dominant color's green, your trend is up, but your location is off. You're not near the 20 like this one. You're away from the 20, and your state is off, right? You're wide. So the PCT test is the base part of it, and then it's longer. It's more too. So when you get the full thing, man, you get your trades really tight. And if you don't get consistent performance in your tests and your stocks pass our full complete list, my full complete list, then you're doing something wrong. All right. It's not the selection, it's you're messing it up in some way. And that's a good thing. You want to be at that place where you know my selection is good. What do I have to improve or correct? All right. Now, here was the first bar of the morning. It was a red bar trapped in between the moving averages. That's what we call the trap zone. It's not above or below. It's in between. It's in the trap zone. I tell traders, leave the trap zone alone. All right. Unless you want to be trapped. Okay. But the next bar clears a red near the moving averages. Remember, I love the plays near moving averages. So we're clearing, and I love the color game. We're clearing the red near the moving averages, and my entry places me in positive position. So I've got position. Okay. Because which I've only got 2 bars so far off the open, but which one is stronger? Well, obviously, if the green one is overpowering the red one, then I've got color on my side by playing the green one. All right. Now here I have more than 1 bar to judge color, but at the open in the morning, you only have 1 or 2 bars to judge, and which one's the more powerful color. Okay. And then your trend, remember off the open, we start with an X because how can you have a trend with 1 or 2 bars? You can't. So at least it passed the 2 PCT test. I've got a 2 pass. This is a decent trade. And there's your run to the upside. Okay. Now, all right. And guys, this is a big run. It doesn't look like it, but this is a fairly big run. You know, 1,000 shares of that gets you $2,000 more or less in the trade. Okay, so good. But now down here, my traders know that I love the color game and I love the power game. See this power bar? I love to jump in power bars, but they can't be power bars away from everything. They have to be power bars near the 20 or near the 200. Here's a power bar near that originates near the 200. I'm diving into that bar. I'm diving into any power bar this is a power bar originating off the 20 in positive territory. I'm diving into this power bar. Here's a power bar originating off the 200. I'm diving into this power bar, betting to the downside. I'm also playing the color game. Here's red overpowering green. Here is red overpowering green again. I let the green happen, and if red takes out the legs of the green, boom, I'm right back into it. Now, each of these trades here, let's run it through the PCT test again, right? So I'm shorting. The first thing I'm shorting is my power bar that's originating off the 20. I love that. Okay, I'm diving into that bar. I dive into violence. I dive into power. I love power. Okay, so I dive into the power bar. I protect myself above the high of the power bar. Now, look, does it pass the litmus test here? Do I have position? Yes, I'm under both moving averages. Okay. Do I have, am I playing the dominant color? You bet you I am. All right. First of all, I'm playing the biggest freaking red bar on the chart practically. If I take this section here, I've got trend to the downside and the dominant color's red, and I'm in the great position. This is almost the closest you can get to a guaranteed win. Okay, you got three checks. All right, is this color play? Yes, all of them are the same. I'm under the moving averages, betting to the downside. Boom. The dominant color I'm playing with the dominant color. I'm not trying to buy this green bar here because it's a fat green bar, but all of this red is telling me, why would you bet against me for one showing? Look at what I've shown you over the past freaking hour. And this other team shows you 1 2-minute bar. I've shown you 22-minute bars, and you give the faith to the one, and I've given you 20. How dare you? You know, so we don't do that. We play with the dominant color. All right. 1 bar doesn't cut it. Okay. And yes, the trend is in our favor. What's the easiest way to determine the trend? Just look at the 20-period moving average, sloping downward, not rising. Okay, good. Here's square again, guys. You're playing to the downside. You want the downside. Look, you want the color game to the downside. Red takes out green. Red takes out green. PCT test. Position here. We got 2 trades here. Position. Yes, under the moving average. Position here. Yes. Do I have the dominant color? Yes, I have the dominant color now. Power red, sequence of red in a row. All right, I'm playing the dominant color here now. Okay. And this one, certainly the dominant color is red. Trend here, not so much. You're more equal trend, right? So on this one, I'd say no, but on this one, I'd say yes. Okay. So they're both 1 and 2. They're both acceptable. Just said the 20 was kind of flat with this one. That's okay. I still got 2 out of 3. It's still a takeable trade. And then, of course, once the trend gets going, I'm all over it. Okay, all over it. And guys, I will tell you, follow this PCT test and you will be, I am telling you, head and shoulders above many of those who don't apply some filter to their trades. Okay. As you know, I like to dive into violence bars that are originating off, boom, off some moving average. I'm diving into this bar, but is it good to do? Well, let's see. PCT. All right. Position, betting on the downside. Great. I'm under the moving averages. Color, dominant color. I'm playing a power red bar. Of course, the red is the dominant color. Trend. All right. I would say, to be honest with you, we don't have a clear trend, and you can't because we're too close to the open anyway of the day. But it's 2 out of 3. There's that sound. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing. This reminds me of yesterday's talk where I taught you how to play, how to judge dual space and pick your bottoms. Boom. Again, what's your PCT here? All right. Green takes out red. Green takes out red. What are these tests? Position is above the moving averages in both of these color games here. Your position is in your favor. The dominant color is green. The trend is up. They're solid colors. The only thing that for trade 1, you don't have trend. For trade 2, you do have trend. Okay. And that's trade 1. And this is trade 2. Boom. So this would be your pass with a 3, and this would pass with a 2. But with other things, the 1 is actually, trade 1 is better than trade 3 because you're closer to the narrow state. This is when I expand the litmus test. You're closer to a narrow state. You're closer to a wide state here. You're closer to the 20. You're a little further from the 20. All of these things start to come into play when you become mine, and we flesh these things out a little bit more. But I wanted to at least start you off with the base litmus test, the PCT. All right. And again, guys, this is just repeating it all over again. No need for me to go over this. Boom, power bar originating off not just the 20, but the 200. I love to jump into power that's originating off of one of my 2 moving averages. I'm in to the short side, PCT. All right. Remember, at the open, you don't have trend, but you have position. We have color, and the rest is history. All right. Now, apply this. In the beginning, I want you to actually have a piece of paper, and before you even find the trade, you should have PCT with lines next to them. And just map out, if you trade on average 4 or 5 times a day, map out 4 or 5 of them on the page like this. PCT, boom, 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 and have them on several parts of your paper, right? PCT, like that, boom, boom, boom. And so you're ready. And when you take, this is trade 1, this is trade 2, this is trade 3, like that, and have it ready. And then just quickly mark it down. Like, I'm ready to take this trade. Does it pass the test? And it's going to be slow in the beginning. All right. But then it's going to get faster and faster and faster. And then you're not going to need the paper. It's just going to be automatic. You're going to be able to do it mentally like that. You know, that's under, that's above, that's solid color, that's not solid color, that's declining 20, that's rising 20, boom. Okay. And it's going to become second nature. You want this to eventually become a part of you, not something that you do, but something that you are. Okay. You want this to become unconscious competence. At first, it's conscious competence, Later, after some practice, it just becomes a part of you, like walking to the refrigerator to grab a bottle of water. You don't think about, well, wait a minute, I put one right foot ahead of my left foot. I make a left over here, and then I start putting the left foot in front. You don't go through the mechanics of going to the kitchen to grab a bottle of water. It's just unconscious competence now. All right. Same thing here. You practice first consciously until it becomes something that you do unconsciously.